Alright, hello everyone, my name is Zeotrex, and today we're taking a look at Joker Folie, or Joker for Madness for 2. I apologize if I mispronounced that French there. Anyways, so Joker, following the murder on live television, Arthur Fleck stands trial for the murders that he committed. Meanwhile, he also bonds with Harley Quinn, an inmate at Arkham, and they bond over the idea of the Joker. This movie goes in depth about what the Joker exactly is and why, whether or not you should be idolizing a man like that. And here's my thoughts. So, the first movie I really liked. I walked out of it. I really liked the first Joker movie. I thought it was a really good piece of cinema. This second one, though, piece of shit, let me tell you. Oh my god, Joker 2 is actually the worst movie of the entire year. Worse than Madam Web, honestly. Joker 2 is the most boring, dragging, annoying piece of shit I've seen. And let's just get right in. Let's talk about some of the good things first. Let's get the little crumbles of good things right out of the way. That way I can really tear into this movie like a fucking cadaver, alright? The acting's good, for the most part. Joaquin Phoenix does another great job as Arthur Fleck. The movie is also really well shot. I do think that this movie has some really beautiful cinematography, especially during the musical sequences, which I'll fucking get to. The just the lighting and the cinematography and the overall feel of the movie, I actually did really enjoy. The soundtrack of, excluding all the bullshit musical stuff, the actual original soundtrack for the movie, I really liked. Again, that Joker theme is beautiful. I love it. Um, and the acting is great. There's this huh. That's all I have to say. This film fucking sucked, dude. I love musicals. Listen, I love Rocky Horror. I love Little Shop of Horrors. I love Grease. I love Heathers to an extent, and haven't really seen it, but I am a massive fan of musicals, right? And so when I heard that this movie was a musical, I actually was kind of excited for it because um I was excited for the idea that Joker and Harley being in a musical just made sense, and the trailers made it seem so well, but this movie doesn't know how to be a fucking musical. It thinks that Todd Phillips thinks the idea of a musical is to stop the movie dead in its tracks, to ruin the momentum of what's going on, to have shitty people, no, just having shitty songs being sung that they're not even that fucking good. There's only one song here that I actually really liked, and it was in the courtroom, and the music just fucking sucked. Again, really well shot, but that's not enough to save it. It adds nothing to the story, it adds nothing to the movie, and anytime any of the characters would actually start singing, I'd want them to shut the hell up. Because it ruins the momentum of what's going on. It drags the film down to a screeching halt. And it just fails at being a musical in that regard. It doesn't progress the story, and Phoenix is a good singer. Gaga is also sort of a good singer, to an extent. Throughout most of this movie, whenever she sings, they wasted her like crazy. She actually only has two genuine music sequences. The other times that she sings, it's really dry and really raspy. It sounds like she got punched in the throat and then was asked to sing. And speaking of Lady Gaga, honestly, I didn't like her in this movie. I like Lady Gaga's music, and I heard she's a great actor, but this is not a movie to convince me about that. She is so deadpan dry in this movie that and she's Harley Quinn. Harley Quinn, Harleen Quinzel, a bubbly Brooklyn kind of gal who is really fun. And I get that this is a more serious take on Gotham. This is a more serious story. But You literally could have just removed the fact that her name was Harley Quinn and, her outfit at the end of the movie, which we got like one scene with, and none of it would have nothing would have changed. Because she's not Harley Quinn in this movie. She's just a fucking female Joker. Joker and Harley's relationship in this movie is actually really awful. I just didn't like what they were doing. At first, they actually were bonding well and getting together well and, bonding over the idea of Joker. And then halfway through the movie, she just sits in the courtroom and is like, yeah, yeah, Joker, you tell him. You tell him, Joker. And then just fucks off for the rest of it. It's, why have her in the movie if you're not going to use her to the full extent? And half the movie takes place in a courtroom, right? It's Arthur Fleck defending the trial. It's Arthur Fleck defending himself against these murders, and Harvey Dent is there too. And I don't know. I really don't know what to say because it's a test of patience when it gets to the courtroom stuff. I'm sitting there and I'm literally looking at my watch like, okay, can this movie please fucking end, dude? Can this movie please fucking end? Because I just didn't find any of the courtroom stuff interesting. There was one scene, slight spoilers, I don't give a shit, and it was the midget, or little person from the first movie, Gary, who talks about, like, what it was like when he saw Joker stab his friend Randy, and how, like, betrayed he felt and all that. And I really liked that. Phenomenal acting, phenomenal, like, cinema work. I actually really liked that, and that's all I really have to say about the courtroom stuff. The other half takes place in Arkham, and the Arkham scenes are just so miserable to watch, intentionally or so. I don't give a shit. It's so pretentious, honestly. Like, yeah, let's have Joker smoking. Yeah, that's cinema, right? Yeah, we're gonna be at the Oscars. We're gonna be at the Oscars. Thousands of Oscars coming in. That's what this movie all boils down to in the end. It's being pretentious. It thinks it's cinema when really it's just trash. And the first movie actually was like that. It was inspired by Taxi Driver, had Robert De Niro and all that. And this movie could have been that had it just gotten better writing and better directing. You know, this movie is just not subtle at all, not in the slightest with its messages. Like, there's a scene where Joker is standing in the rain laughing, and it's like, yeah, it's supposed to be sad. Kind of fucking obvious, right? And I think this movie prioritized its themes and whatnot on making fun of the Sigma Alphas and the dude bros who were like, yeah, I relate to the Joker, and because of that, it murders this movie tremendously. And oh my god, don't even get me started on the ending. We're gonna get into that with spoilers because that's a lot of bullshit I want to talk about. There's Joker 2 is a slow, boring, pretentious mess. It tries its best to be a cinematic, drama and art film, but honestly, it just ends up being more of a fart than art. It gets an F. That's what I'm saying. F for fuck this movie. So let's get into spoilers, I guess. There's 2 points I really wanted to talk about that I fucking hated, honestly. So near the end of the movie, near the courtroom scene, Joker gets raped. That is an actual plot line. Is that Joker Arthur Fleck gets raped by the guards? Why was that needed? Why that was like Huey getting raped in The Boys. I always find those scenes unnecessary. I dislike it all the time. Does not need to be in the movie. We've established that these guards are shitheads. You do not need to go that far to establish it any further. And then he stops being Joker and everyone betrays him, like, in the end. And I think it's just so fucking stupid. It's it's that fucking Reddit post. Why doesn't Batman just rape the Joker? Everybody fucking listened. In this ending. So at the end, Joker is back in Arkham. He has a visitor, and he's going to the visitor, and this guy comes up to him, and he's like, "Hey, you want to hear a joke?" And he tells a joke that I'm pretty sure was in like one of the animated movies. I don't give a fuck. But Then he stabs him. So Arthur Fleck does die at the end of the movie. And then Arthur, the guy who stabs him in the back, we see him carve his face up. Does that remind you of a certain Joker? If that is what they are implying, that this is somehow connected to the Dark Knight Nolan films, you know how much shit doesn't make sense for that? First of all, the Waynes. The Waynes, I want to talk about another plot, how they never even got fucking mentioned. We clearly saw Batman's parents get murdered in Batman Begins, like, with different circumstances. It wasn't a clown ride, it was just a robbery. You know? That's what it was. And Harvey Dent kind of does become Two-Face in this movie. Depends on how you look at it, but in the courtroom, there's a bomb that goes off, and it blows them away. Now, blinking you miss it, we actually do see that Harvey's Dent, like, has dirt or whatever, or scarring on his face. And I kind of expected that he would somehow become Two-Face, you know? Whether or not they want to set that up for anything else, I don't give a shit. Actually, just let this fucking universe die, honestly. It's giving Zack Snyder vibes, you know? Trying to make the next big piece of art and the next big piece of cinema. But falling so fucking flat on his face because you're so full of yourself and your ego is honestly bigger than your dick. So, that's all I have to say. As you can tell, I hated this movie. The music was terrible. And, I hope that this fucking universe ends. Congratulations, Todd Phillips. You have actually ruined, like, a really good movie. One of the best DC movies that we've had within recent years. I don't even want to consider this a DC movie. And call me someone media illiterate, whatever. Make good movies. How about that? So, yeah, I was very excited to talk about this because I wanted to rip into this film so fucking hard. Like, pulled rips at a barbecue. So, next review is hopefully Venom 3, which I hopefully have a much, much better time with. And other than that, I just got a question for you. Why so serious? Let me fucking mute this. Where is it? Where's my mouse? Where is it? Fuck it. Alright, see you guys.